Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakakwadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the old full lake here in this word and truth and in sincerity. So I just want to do a quick lesson, on a topic that was on my spirit, man. And that's pretty much like how, the time is coming to where the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the true Israelites according to the Bible, will be able to rest, because when you look at, history, when you look at the things that we've been through as a nation, it's about time that, we get our glory. And of course, this is going to begin with the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, but Jake as a whole, even though Jake is wicked on this side, they're going to receive their judgment. The kingdom is actually for our rest. And as much as people want to come against it, the naysayers want to, come against the fact that the kingdom is only for the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and the scattered Israelites. Hey, you can't stop what's getting ready to come for us, man. You see? But this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 8 and verse. Matter of fact, I can start a little higher. Verse 50, because this is before the kingdom. It's just like like when it rain, like when the storm come down, when it storms, and then after the storm clears, the sun come back out and the birds come out, and then they start singing. Well, that's what it pretty much is, for us, man. All right, because the worst part of the storm is getting ready to happen, which is Jacob's trouble. And that reminds me, a brother has shared in the chat, dealing with like hippos and how when they shit in the water. It was like a whole video, man. I can't recall like the whole thing, but to give you a quick synopsis on it, the brother has shared a video, Kodash shared a video, dealing with like how when the hippo shit in the water, the water would be dirty, and they'll pretty much immerse themselves in the muddy shitty water, because of the heat. You know what I'm saying? And they'll fight over a spot within that dirty water, kind of like in this kingdom right here, this society. Esau's kingdom is muddy water, dirty, shitty water, and people are just fighting to get their bread, fighting to survive out here, man. But my initial point being is that, they fight over shitty water, something of no value, and when the rain came, the rain pretty much cleaned up the water, made it clear again, because what it did was it drove away the filthiness, the imperfections within the water, and then the fish came back. And that's the very ironic part about it. See, the Lord is beautiful, man. Because as the water was dirty, things were dying in there, man. It was nothing but death, shit and death within the environment, man. All right? The fish were dying. Nothing was living in there, and that's Esau's kingdom. Nothing but death in Esau's kingdom. But when the rain come, the rain being the missiles, the ultimate judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, when they come, it's going to clean the earth, and after the earth is clean, life is going to spring forth again within the earth under the rulership of the nation of Israel. You see? And that's what happened within that water, the environment of the hippos. After the rain passed by, the fish came back, and they were taking care of the hippos, free, the video had said, free dental care. They were cleaning the hippos' bodies off. So my point being is that, in a sense with us, we're in that shitty muddy water right now, and the storm is getting ready to come. The rain is getting ready to come to clean up the earth. But of course, within that cleaning, 2/3 of our people is going to die. 2/3 of our people, pursuant to Zechariah 13:8, the 2 parts shall be cut off and die here in America, man. Okay, and the 1/3 shall be left therein. The 1 part shall be left therein. And that's talking about the elect within America. You know, and it's with that elect number that the Lord is going to. Of course, you got brothers around the world. All right, but that prophecy with 2/3 and 1/3 is dealing with here in America. All right, but you got brothers and sisters scattered around the world, which the Lord is going to gather also. And within this gathering, this is how the Lord is going to start his new kingdom, build the new kingdom up, man. You see? But this is 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 52, and it says, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. You see, so many great miseries is getting ready to happen to a lot of people. You know, not just, Israel going to get judgment, but the heathen, they're going to get their judgment. Or beginning with the so-called white people. You know? Because Esau, Edom has been the proudest among the heathen nations. The so-called white people has been the most arrogant among the heathen nations. And what the Lord is getting ready to bring is going to bring their pride down, man. It's going to remind them that they're just men, humans. You see? Because, the word Esau, Edom, and pride, that's like saying 2 + 2 = 4. It adds up. Esau, Edom is the proud, is the wicked. So many great miseries getting ready to happen upon these people on the earth, beginning with the so-called white nation. And down to the people that he rules over, man, the wicked people that he rules over. Okay, it says, verse 51, but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise opened, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteous is made ready, a city is builded, and the rest is allowed. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom, you see? And this is what we're all waiting for, man. The world is waiting for this. When I say the world is waiting for this, I'm talking about the creation. We can get that in the book of Romans, okay? In the book of Romans, where it says the creation groaneth. Because the animals, the trees, everything is mourning because Esau, Edom is not taking care of the planet. He's not taking care of the creation of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So not only will rest be allowed for the Israelites, rest is going to be allowed for the Lord's creation, man. Because Esau, Edom is constantly on bullshit concerning the Lord's earth, man. The trees constantly getting cut down. And I've witnessed this myself. Certain areas where I stay at, there used to be a lot of trees. Esau, Edom chopped them down. He cut them all off. To build what? To build these concrete cities, man. To build these homes. So what he's doing is he's pretty much killing the earth, man. You see? Romans chapter 8 and verse 19, it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. So the whole creation is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God, man. Beginning with Yahushua. So whether people say it or not, they're waiting for that righteous order. Even the people that don't like us, the Jake that don't like us, all right, and the heathen, that look down upon us, they inwardly they want a righteous kingdom, but the problem is that Esau, Edom is in the way of that, and he's going to get taken out. The Heavenly Father, through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, is going to take the so-called white man out of power, and from that takedown, the earth is going to thrive in righteousness, man. See? Esau is the only one holding Esau is the one holding the earth back from peace, man. That's a good lesson right there. Esau is the one holding the earth back from peace, because through his wickedness, the earth is going to continue, he's going to continue to pretty much die, man. It says, verse 21, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. This is the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain. So like I said earlier, not only the people is travailing in pain and groaning, the animals are travailing. Esau, Edom is sodomizing dogs. They're sodomizing the creatures, man. Is that, no, not sodomizing, but, he's abusing. He's abusing the animals, man. I done did a lesson, about this week about how an attorney was caught by his wife, having sex with the family dog. Like, who in their right mind would have sex with an animal? Esau, Edom, as the scripture says, his spirit is not upright in him, man. You see? So Esau, Edom he gotta go, man. So anybody, trying to plead the case of the so-called white man, all right, the Edomite, Esau, Edom, hey, the Lord's just gonna take you down with him. And when I say so-called white man, we talking about the nation of Edom, but we understand that you have so-called white people, all right, whose line goes back to Israel. So-called black man, Hispanic or Native American man. Because if your line goes back to one of the 12 tribes of Israel, then you're an Israelite. Not solely it's not solely about your skin color, but as a nation, all right, the so-called white people are, the Edomites that the Bible speak of. You see? But yeah, man, the whole creation groaneth, man. Like the scripture says in Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So the righteous is not in authority. And Esau, Edom, he like to put on his front lights though he's the righteous or he's the good guy. But if he was the good guy, the earth would be in the best condition. All right, that the Lord, what's the word for it? The earth would be in the best condition that the Lord intended it to be. That's the word, intended it to be. But the fact that the earth is dying, the earth is mourning, that shows you who? That the wicked is in power. You see? Job 9:24 says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You see? So the fact that the wicked is in power, matter of fact, the fact that the earth is suffering, death is running rampant on the earth right now, that shows you that the wicked is in power. Salaki. Okay? So, we're not ignorant of these things, man. And at the end of the day, we're just looking for that rest. We're looking for, Lord to pretty much, close the curtains on, Esau's kingdom, and just, bring about that new world. Because, waking up every day, a slave for this devil, it's burdensome. Having to clock in for Esau and him pretty much abuse you. When I say abuse, I mean pretty much like, you can't do nothing because you need, the job to provide for, your family, or you need the job to pretty much provide for yourself. But that means you gotta take Esau's shit. And with the way the economy is right now, you can't really find another job like that. So it's kind of like you gotta suck it up and pretty much do your job. You see, and that's why, hearing about the kingdom, it's sweet when we hear it, because, the kingdom is the promised world. You ever watch one of those movies where somebody, it's like an apocalypse? The Walking Dead is a great example. If you haven't watched The Walking Dead yet, it's gonna be a spoiler for you, but pretty much one of the seasons where it was a place that they had to go to. Pretty much it was like a promised land type shit, where they would have safety. They'd hear it on the radio, that come here, we got food, shelter, clothes, or whatever, but to find out when they got there, you know what I'm saying, it was all a lie, because what happened was it was people, cannibals, is what it was, that was luring people in with these kind of promises or whatever, and when they got there, they were slicing people's throats, to pretty much eat them, man. But my initial point being is that, the good news, we're in a land where we're pretty much foreigners too, man, right? And we're hearing the good news, and all we can think of is, the promised land, so to speak. Like, we're in the desert, and we're on our way to, the kingdom, and we're being told that the kingdom is almost there. The kingdom is here. Keep going. It's like we're in a desert, a weary land, no water, but we're still going because we believe that, the land where peace and safety and rest, we believe that it's like right around the corner, so we keep going. So unto us is rest allowed. The heathen, they're not gonna get no rest, in the kingdom. This is their rest. Beginning with the so-called white man. All right, this is his rest. They ain't really got to worry about nothing like that. They ain't got to worry about shit. I mean, of course, the so-called middle class, they're suffering now because the elite is pretty much, getting over on them. But before that, they were living good. The middle class was living damn near as good as the high class, if you know what I mean. But, hey, now you got rich and poor. The Lord put the spirit on the elites of Esau to cut that middle shit out. Now you just got rich and poor people. But, we're going to get our rest in the kingdom, man. And that's all we look forward to. For the Jakes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, that don't believe in the truth, or you don't want nothing to do with the truth, that's cool. The Lord's just going to take you out, and, you'll come back in the kingdom. But before you come back in the kingdom, you're going to go through, some hardcore judgments in which nobody wants to go through. The Lord's going to put you through the ringer. And then you're going to come back in the kingdom ashamed, as the scriptures say. Let's get that everlasting shame and contempt. Daniel 12 Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. That's talking about Jacob's trouble. All right, the worst time in history, the worst time that's ever happened to mankind, is getting ready to happen in our time, in our days. Okay, it says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And it's talking about the elect. It's talking about the elect being delivered out of Jacob's trouble. And it says, verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So Jake gonna come back in the kingdom, and they're gonna be ashamed, for a long period of time. Of course, they're gonna get over, they're gonna get over the sadness, but they're gonna be down because they disobeyed the Lord, and they didn't hearken to the Lord when the Lord spoke to them in these times, man. They're gonna go through that judgment. They're gonna go through the ringer, and they come back in the kingdom with their heads down. You see? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Hearing this word of truth and in sincerity. Until next time, I say shalom and above all.